9 years ago, when I started at Plarium, Plarium was still working casino. Yes, we started in casino. Strategy was on the table. It was our big focus. Now, there are two different directions that you can go when you are digging in a market. You can go deep in, you can focus, you can make game after game, improve it, fix it, launch the next big thing that is going to take everything that you took from before and improve upon it and send it on. Or you can go in lots of different directions. Now, when Plarium went in, what they did is we started in strategy. We took the knowledge that we had from strategy. Okay, it's not just strategy that this can be applied to. What about casino? What about RPG or action? We've gone in lots of different directions. And with that, we're seeing a trend in the market across the board. Now, when you look at who made it to the top, who was it who got into the top 200? And each year, how many games are doing that? Early on, okay, about 50% of the games were new each year. You're doing pretty well. Once you hit 2017, however, that's where it started going downhill. Only 94 games in 2018. 35 games 2020. Last year, 2021, we only had 13 new games. Top 213 new games that made it in. How is that possible? Why is it that everything is stuck in that position? What you are seeing is that revenues are still rising. They are going up. We're seeing an increase. More money is coming in, even if you're looking at fewer big games at the top. But the growth that we're seeing is not the same situation. Now, 2014 through 2016, the market was growing strong. 2017 was when it started going down. Yes, 2019, 2020, we all know what happened in that situation. COVID. It changed the market out of its trajectory. Numbers have continued to be high since COVID. However, the growth is not what we saw in early days. When we're looking at what is going on in regards to a product life cycle, product being the entire genre. So early days up to 2016, you had the introduction phase to 2014, 2016, 2017, the market had the growth, and then we hit maturity. Now, when you are talking about market maturity, there are two different directions you can go. You can see the decline afterwards. People are moving on to new entertainment. You've got Netflix. You've got HBO. You've got the movie theaters. Entertainment is not just within the game industry anymore. It's not just looking at the immediate threat. It's wherever the player's attention is going. You also have product extension, which is what we've been seeing. We're seeing the growth continue a bit slower. Let's take a strategy market, for example, of how that is happening. Now, when strategy started back in 2014, around when it happened, 2012 with Clash of Clans, you saw the first big cluster within the strategy market. At this point, you've got a lot of different games, and they're all holding decent amount of market space. Market percentage. What you could see there and what happened was that as these games came out, everything was new to the market. There weren't that many games out there. We were in growth phase. Players wanted new and different, as they do today. And new and different was everything. It wasn't what they had played yesterday, so let's try this one. Now, 2016 is when we saw the next big clump. 2016, Lords Mobile came out. And Lords Mobile changed the strategy market. What they did is they took the RPG genre and they merged it into the core loop of strategy. You've got different aspects with different types of games of how RPG was merged in. The most recent one, you can see that it's branching even further out. Last Shelter Survival, Rise of Kingdoms, Top War, State of Survival. You're seeing action merge. You've got puzzle, because Ebony, when we're talking about that, added in puzzle. Now, Clash of Clans was first to market. Supercell Games, for strategy for the Clash of Clones, they have 83% of the market for Clash of Clones. But where you saw new and different branch in, that is where you can start your own focus. So, Lords Mobile, you had strategy. RPG, they added in tower defense in 2018. All we're focusing on is mid-core here. Merge Gardens took the opposite direction. Merge plus match 3, you've got to focus on casual. Ebony took it in the opposite direction completely. They combined together mid-core and casual. They followed the lines of what we had seen in Hero Wars when they started the campaign of marketing, where they're doing all of the puzzle ads. But they put those puzzle ads into the core of the game. So, how do you classify them? What are you doing with all of these different genres? And what is a genre these days if you're going lots of different directions with the genres? Strategy, RPG, and action, it's a lot easier to define. You've got the key elements that play into these different genres. Strategy, you have base building, character development, resource management, and battle mechanics. RPG, the focus is character development. Notice again, you see character development there. Items and exploration. What's the story? How are they interacting? RPG, role-playing games. You're taking on your role and you are moving forward with it. Action, number 1, battle mechanics. It's not just the matter of the elements that are in the game, but your reflexes, how you're playing, what the player is doing. You could be number 1 in regards to the strength of your heroes, but if you can't shoot, like me, I am not an action player at all. If you can't shoot, you're not going to win, no matter what you have on your hero. And then you've got casual. Now, casual genres I listed as a whole, because when you're talking about casual, you are not just talking about one genre if you're thinking about the big picture. You have match 3, blast, arcade tap, lots of different options that are in there. And it's all about how the player is playing it. Can they step away? Can they put it down at any moment? So when you're thinking about genres, you do have a definition, even if you were merging different genres together. But as you saw here, you've got a couple of character developments in here. You're seeing lots of repeats of that. What's happening with that? How do you actually define what to match together and how to put it together? There are still key things about how the core elements are working. RPG, you've got many heroes when you're talking about our collection RPGs. How the teams work, what you're doing, what you're putting together. Whereas in action and strategy, you might have many heroes in your inventory, but you're using one hero at a time. How do you upgrade it? RPG in action. An upgrade increases the power overall of the hero. Whereas strategy, you can go in and focus. I want to do this to strategically strengthen this aspect of my hero and take it to the next step. You may be merging different genres together. However, there are still key elements behind it. And you have to understand what those key elements are and how they work together in order to understand what is comparable to one another. Are there any questions?